Well, month 8 is very simple. Month 8 could have been month number 1. It could have been month number 2, but we put it in month number 8 for a reason. And it is simply this. It is time to add moderate to intense cardiovascular exercise to your routine every week for the rest of your life. Welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer, where armor is forged through mental, spiritual, and physical preparation. Welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer. I am your host, Carl Wimmer, and I want to welcome you to month 8 of Habits to Healthy in 1 year, our program that if you have been following along, you have learned new habits, new strategies to make yourself healthy for the long term. These are not just short-term fixes. These are not strategies to get you shredded in 8 weeks like some of these crazy, absolute ridiculous claims. These are proven lifelong strategies that you can adopt for your health, your fitness, that will aid in your longevity. Many of them are for beginners, but the fact is many of them are also overlooked, and even experienced fitness people who have been in bodybuilding and fitness for a long time can benefit by resetting and just getting back to the basics. We've talked extensively over the last 8 months about this Habits to Healthy in 1 year program. It is a program that if you pick up and follow starting at any time, you can just start following along month after month, and after an entire year, you will have stacked many habits that will produce benefits for the rest of your life. We've talked about increasing and prioritizing your protein consumption, being the most important macro that you take in, being that muscle is the organ of longevity and protein is the building block of muscle. We've talked about clean, single ingredient, wholesome whole foods and fiber. We have talked about sleep and the necessary requirement to sleep at least 8 hours a night and how to improve your sleep hygiene. We've talked about water consumption and just increasing your consumption of water. Those things in and of themselves are ways to increase your health. We talked about weightlifting, implementing weightlifting, all of these different things, tracking the food that you eat. All of these things month after month are helping you to become more fit and healthy in the long term. I want to remind you that the Habits to Healthy in 1 year has their own tab in our YouTube page. The idea, the base idea of the Habits Healthy in 1 year program is based on the idea that sometimes it's hard to keep promises to yourself. Sometimes it's hard to keep habits, hard to keep New Year's resolutions. And we at First Responder Fitness want to solve that. And so we have provided a really simple follow along with us program month to month that will make you healthy and will stack habits together, so long term you're living a new lifestyle of fitness and prosperity. I also want to remind you that you can go to any of our Instagram, our YouTube, what have you, and you can click on our homepage and you'll find our link tree. In the link tree, you will find links to products that we recommend. In addition, you will find downloadable PDF profiles for each month, instructions, a 1-page PDF giving the instructions for every single month of Habits to Healthy in 1 year program. Well, month 8 is very simple. Month 8 could have been month number 1. It could have been month number 2, but we put it in month number 8 for a reason. And it is simply this. It is time to add moderate to intense cardiovascular exercise to your routine every week for the rest of your life. Now, that may sound a little bit overwhelming at first, but no, it's just time to turn up your heart rate. Start with 10 minutes. 10 minutes of moderate to intense cardiovascular exercise 5 times a week. The American Heart Association recommends 150 minutes of moderate intense exercise every single week. Okay, that's fantastic. If you can get more, it is dose dependent. The more you get, the better it is. But you really need to start somewhere. So if 10 minutes is all you can do, that's okay. 10 minutes of moderately intense cardiovascular exercise 5 times a week. And you can vary this exercise. It depends on what equipment you have available or the type of exercise you like to do. I sometimes like to do high intensity interval training. I don't do a ton of it. I normally keep my high intense stuff for my weightlifting. I much prefer low intensity, steady state cardio, but that's me. You might be someone who loves high intensity interval training and wants to do that more often. That is totally fine. This is up to you. Additionally, you might like jogging. Now that I am 50 years old, as I've gotten older, my knees don't like jogging so much. I did just a couple days ago participated in a mud run obstacle course and ended up running for quite some time, jogging and that kind of thing. But generally, I don't like to jog every single day. My knees don't like it. My joints don't like it. And so I prefer other types of cardiovascular exercise. I prefer the elliptical. As a former fighter, I really quite enjoy bag work, heavy bag work, and that kind of thing. But you can make this yours. Elliptical, rowing machine, jogging outside, at-home cardio equipment is just fine. A stationary bike, an assault bike, whatever that looks like. You need to add cardiovascular exercise. You can add this to the end of your weight training routine. So, after you're done weightlifting, matter of fact, what I prefer to do, because I like to get my core body temperature up and I like to loosen up, I start with 10 or 15 minutes of cardiovascular exercise on usually an elliptical machine. And then I do my weight training. And that's high intense and I work my guts out. And then at the end of that, I do another 30 minutes of cardio. So I'm doing maybe 40 minutes a day of zone 2 cardio. Now, that is in addition to my early morning walks that I do. My walk is usually a zone 1, just a nice, relaxing walk before I eat anything for the day. It's a fasted walk. And again, there's a lot of debate out there on whether fasted cardio is better than fed cardio. I don't think ultimately the science is conclusive that fasted cardio is better. Okay. At the end of the day, it's how many calories you take in, how many calories you burn. But I like to do fasted cardio because for me, I like to get the victory out of the way first thing in the morning. I like to go for an hour-long walk. And I'm not saying you have to walk for an hour, but I do. I like to go for an hour-long walk and come home. And before I've eaten anything for the day, I've burned 280 calories, 300 calories. I mean, that's fantastic. I love that. It starts my day with a victory. I prefer that. So start your walking. You've already done that. That was way several months ago. But now it's time to implement zone 2 cardio. Hopefully you can work your way up to where you're doing 150 minutes every single week. You need to get motivated about how to improve your cardiovascular endurance and especially your VO2 max. You know, I talked about some of the health and fitness influencers that you can trust, and I mentioned Dr. Rhonda Patrick. Just this week, I was watching and listening to Dr. Rhonda Patrick, and she pointed out that those people who do VO2 max exercise once a week, and if you have questions about VO2 max exercise, I did an entire video on VO2 max, so go look for it on YouTube or Spotify. Those who do VO2 max exercise at least once a week, their hearts can improve to where they are essentially the equivalent of a person who is 20 years younger than themselves. Now, of course, this particular study took sedentary, non-exercising, out of deconditioned 50-year-olds, had them work out for a year or two doing VO2 max exercises, and they checked them the entire time. Essentially, a year or two later, they had the hearts of 30-year-olds. And whether or not you want to call that conclusive, I don't, because there's a lot of different things that could have taken place in that study that we need to be critical of. But the fact is, VO2 max is the number one, with the exception of maybe muscle building. VO2 max is the number one measurement of longevity. If you have a high VO2 max, you will live longer, all things being equal. So you need to learn to improve your VO2 max with moderate to intense cardio. Now, VO2 max is usually done at a very intense level. Go back and watch the video so you can understand that. I want you to keep moving forward by continuing your previous habits. You're going to stay hydrated. You're going to continue to track your food. You're going to continue your daily walking. You're going to take your daily supplements to help supplement where you might miss something in your diet. You're going to eat whole, single ingredient, whole foods, high protein, fiber, your weight training 3 or 4 times a week now. You've developed good sleep habits, and now you're doing cardiovascular exercise. In preparation for this month, you should either go buy a gym membership. Okay. And that, yes, I'm saying buy a gym membership. This might be a sacrifice for you. I know the economy sucks right now, but this is an investment in your long-term health. This is an investment in you, your health. Go get a gym membership and use it. I saw a joke the other day that my brother actually posted on some social media platform. It says, I have had a gym membership since January 1st, and I've lost no weight and gained no strength. I'm going there tomorrow in person to find out what happened. You know, it was just kind of hilarious. Don't be that way. Go get a gym membership and use it, or purchase a piece of cardio equipment for your house, or purchase a pair of jogging shoes and use nature as your cardiovascular exercise. Whatever you decide to do, just get moving. Start where you can. If you are really deconditioned, if you have very little experience in exercise, if you don't have good conditioning, start with 5-10 minutes a day. But ultimately, you want to work up to where you're doing a minimum of 150 minutes of zone 2 cardio every single week. Now, what is zone 2 cardio? Well, if you have a fancy watch like I have, it tells you when you're in zone 2. It's based on your heart rate, your age, and that type of thing. But basically, what most coaches tell people is zone 2 cardio is difficult, but not too difficult. You can carry on a conversation, but it's not super easy. You have to stop and take a breath. So picture you're on the phone with your mother or somebody and you're having a chat with them and you're breathing. You can carry on this conversation, but it's a little bit labored and they can definitely tell you're working. That would be zone 2 cardio. So you want to get right in that zone and you want to start getting 150 minutes of that every single week if you can. Otherwise, start where you can. If you're already doing it, good job. Keep it up. Maybe add a little bit of variety, add a little bit more, add a variety, add some HIIT training, add some VO₂ Max training, mix it up, throw in some swimming, whatever you prefer. I just want you to be motivated to improve your health and strength, and most importantly, your longevity. Because that's what we're all about here at First Responder Fitness. We want you as police officers, as firefighters, and as just people in general, even if you've never been a first responder, we want you to be healthy. We want you to live a long, prosperous life, one where you can enjoy your kids, your grandkids, and your great-grandkids, and your future is bright. So get out there and get it done. I'm Carl Wimmer, reminding you, as always, be good to yourself, be good to others, and as always, stay safe.